Hey guys, welcome to the Coffee and Coaching Podcast. I am Coach Kamara.
I'm Coach Jack G. We hope you enjoy today's episode. We hope you take a lot of value away from it, and we might even make you laugh a little bit.
We started this podcast to help empower and inspire you to take control and create the life that you want to lead.
But remember, everything we say is our opinion. We're not medical professionals. So if we talk about anything that you want to implement into your life, please go and speak to your doctor first.
If you enjoy the episode and you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe, share it with anyone that you think might take value from it. And if you can share it on your social media, it would be massively, massively appreciated.
That's enough of that. Let's get into today's episode.
Jack, lad, do you want to explain to everyone how you've just let the team down?
Oh, I made carnage this morning.
So we've actually just started recording. We're a couple of minutes in.
Yeah.
Because before Jack was dead, I personally thought you were actually dead. So plan to start at 10.
Yeah.
Jack has just turned up at like 20 past 10.
Yeah.
So we're like, what the fuck? I actually thought you were dead. So we just started. It's lucky that we had Kyle in. Jack had just been sat here recording from you.
If you listened and watched last week's episode when he just got off again, payback. No, I don't even feel bad now, actually. Because last week, I really tried to turn up on time today as well. I always do when we've got guests, and today it just didn't happen.
I hate to see when you don't try, to be fair.
Mate, when we don't try, like we booked this for an hour and a half because like the first half an hour was just me and him getting here. The podcast's only like 40 minutes long, but we need an hour and a half just because we never get here on time.
So do you want to explain what the fuck went on?
Just chaos, mate, from morning from the moment I woke up. Rachel's alarm didn't go off, so we went out. It was Rachel's birthday yesterday, so we took the day off. And I was like, fuck, right, I've got a client in the morning and I've got to be here like straight after the session finishes, so we need to finish the session early to get here to do this. So we got home last night and we didn't really drink that much. I had like a couple of glasses of sangria, went to Salthouse Tapas, which was fucking really nice. I was like, sound, feel good, let's go to bed. Set the alarm for 6:30. Plenty of time. I can be out the house by 7, back in by 8. Good to go for the rest of my day. Woke up at like 7:10 to the dog sitting on me, looking at me, and it was like broad daylight. And I was like, morning, lad. Shit, get up. Threw him off the bed. Like, got dressed. He was just like, Neo will be like this when you start being like moving quick and rushing.
Yeah, they go
He's
mad.
just like, yeah, party, what's going on? I'm in, get me involved. So he was just legging it round with me, just like, yeah.
Yeah, see, Neo does that, but he's teasing. So he does that, but he ever told you he loves jumping up and down on the spot?
Yeah.
He loves he just stands there and just jumps up and down like
Love
multiple
I feel
times.
like I've seen that on your stories. Have you put one
Yeah,
of
I think Angel may have posted it, but he
Love
just literally just jumps
Yeah.
up and down. But he does that, but start trying to bite me at the same time.
Yeah, because he's teething, so he's just like...
So he just goes mad. But yeah, so you were just flying around.
Flying round, got him dressed, got me dressed. Legged it round our normal walking route. Like, he was struggling to keep up with me on the way out, and that never happens.
Yeah.
Like, he was stopping to sniff stuff, and I'm like, nope. Legged it back. I was like dripping with sweat because it was like, was it dead foggy by you this morning?
Yeah.
It was like really foggy by me. So I was like, it's going to be freezing out there. So I put like 3 layers on.
Yeah.
Dripping with sweat by the time I got back. Big like sweat patch on my t-shirt. Got in, fed him. Ran into the gym because Jenny was pulling up outside, set the gym up, done a session, and then went to leave, and the dog was just like, nah, mate, I know you're in a rush. I can tell you're in a rush. So fuck you, let's play some games. Had a fight with him. Drove here.
And forgot your phone.
And forgot my phone.
So when we were calling, it was just...
So there was
Don't worry,
absolutely
Jack. When we were
just like, what's going on? Right, anyway, enough about you. Kyle,
yeah, fuck me.
introduce yourself. And let everyone know who you are.
Again.
Yeah.
Again, for the
yeah.
for the second time.
Yeah, well, I
That was a
guess
rehearsal.
I know rehearsal, yeah. I'd come under the category of like personal trainer, online coach, whatever you want to kind of call it, working with both men and women on both improving their physique, but also on their mindset. And the way I try and do that is more having like a holistic 360 view on all different aspects of people's lives rather than just focusing on one and having just strengths and massive weaknesses. So yeah, that's mainly the category that I say I come under now is online coach. Everything's kind of transitioned online, and very, very fulfilled in what I'm doing and very excited for what's to come with it.
Boss, I think today's conversation is going to be framed around following your own path. I don't even know if we've spoken about this, but me and Kyle have spoken about this. I don't care about you.
Don't care. I'm
even
the
mention it to
third
you.
wheel of today's episode just because I turned up late. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll just oh, that's an interesting topic. Can I say something?
I got a point. Pop that one in there.
Yeah, so we're
Can
going
I
to
speak?
going to frame today around understanding your own values and executing or creating a life that is in line with those, rather than just following what the path that society has laid out for you, to create a much more fulfilling life for yourself, which we've spoken about many times before. But it'll be nice to bring someone else in to give a different opinion and speak about some practical examples.
Yeah, sure.
As well, because in fact, we may as well just dive into that now. You're surrounded by people at the minute who are competing, and
Yes.
the fitness industry, as a PT or as an online coach, where like it's sort of like an unwritten or unspoken rule that if you want to sort of be successful in physique development as a coach, you need to have competed.
Yes.
Like what are you sort of going through at the minute over the last couple of months with that?
Yeah, so I'd say it's been recently just a bit of like an internal dialogue and I guess like a bit of a battle, a bit of friction going on for me around some of my very close friends, like the people I speak to, you two know very well, like every single day, and people I respect, I really appreciate, and I value them and their own opinions. And they've both decided that this is going to be the year that they're going to compete for the first year and do like natural bodybuilding shows, which is incredible. And I'm so proud of both of them. I'm very excited to share in their success and in their story and be a part of that. But it started kind of making me think, well, if that's what they're doing, surely that's what I need to do too. And then I started thinking about what I want to achieve with the industry and with my coaching. And I was thinking, well, this person's a really successful coach. They've competed. That person's a very successful coach. They've competed. Does that mean that it's like a rite of passage? Does that mean that it's a necessity to be respected, to be appreciated, to be a good coach down the line? And yeah, it was difficult because for a while I was kind of almost getting steered in that direction, thinking I had to do that to get somewhere in the industry and within my career and to take the business to the heights that I want. And you really don't. And that was the kind of conclusion I came to, was it isn't for me. It isn't what is going to fulfill me, and it isn't what's going to give me that pride and that satisfaction, because for me, my own personal story and transformation is different to a lot of people. Like, I've come from a very different place to those two particularly close friends that I've got. So it took me a while to come to terms with that and to accept and understand that. But I take more fulfillment and joy now in helping others to achieve their own physique development and goals, and to see the change in their quality of life and to see the benefit it brings to them across all different aspects, as opposed to just purely my own. So don't get me wrong, I love training. I can't ever see myself not training. I don't want to ever not be progressing. I always have that mindset of 1% better each and every day. But I get more joy, pride, and fulfillment from them achieving the success rather than myself. So for me, I'd rather do photo shoots. I'd rather do comparisons of the you versus you. Am I progressing? Yes, I'm happy. Rather than needing a comparison to other people. That's the part with competing that doesn't really sit right with me. I've had very unhealthy relationships with food, with myself for a very long time, perceptions of how I looked and how it made me feel, that I don't think I need the extra little bit of a comparison with how I look compared to how other people look. That's the bit that isn't really fulfillment for me.
Yeah. I think I think just literally on that last bit, if you're coming from a place where you've had unhealthy relationships with food in the past, it's probably the worst fucking thing that you could ever possibly do for yourself. But it's as you say, there's like a narrative that if you want to be a successful coach, you need to do this. But going back to what you're talking about at the start, like, you're not, as far as I'm aware anyway, you're not trying to become a top level bodybuilding coach.
No, not prep coach. No.
So do you need to compete?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think if you're someone, we can mention names, can't we? Like Jack.
Yeah.
Is physique transformations. It's probably eventually going into bodybuilding, I assume.
Yes. I think that is his goal. Yeah.
That's his goal. So he probably should compete.
Yeah.
if it's right and it's in line with him and it's something that he gets fulfillment by or fulfillment from, he probably does need to do that, because there is definitely an element of, for me anyway, I think if you're not a coach, you can walk the walk yourself.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to really fucking listen to
I
you. Like,
completely
you
agree.
would level 10 life.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't got a level 10 life, then who the
Yeah.
fuck's going to come and pay you to give them a level 10 life?
Yeah.
It's so weird that you said that today. Like, me and Rach almost had like a little bit of a breakthrough conversation last night. You know, when you're not thinking about work, like you have these little breakthroughs, don't you? When you step out of like work mode, like whenever you go on holiday or take time off, like that's when it pops up. And we were just chatting shit last night, and I like almost since like stepping away from like bodybuilding and all the transformations and stuff was like what the fuck is it then? Like, what am I trying to like? What's the message? And we nailed it last night, I think.
Yeah.
I'm an anti-transformation coach.
You're going to need to explain that a bit more.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it is. So, do you know when people say like, this is what we were talking about last night? You know when people say when they do like a 12-week transformation program, and it's like, I'll change your life in 12 weeks, or like, come in here, we'll do like before and after photos. I'm going to change your life. And we were like, yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're going to change someone's life, but not for the better. You're going to bring someone in for 12 weeks, hammer them with shit calories, hammer them with loads of fucking like excessive amounts of work that they can't maintain after the 12 weeks, get them to a body composition that they can't maintain, make them hyper focused on their appearance, and then at the end of the 12 weeks they get their photos or they get their photo shoot or whatever it is and go, yeah, nice one, cheers. And there's a churn rate for people who do short-term programs, isn't it? Like the first gym we worked at, there's a big churn rate for clients. And then that person leaves that process, loses those results and goes, fucking hell, shit me. I need to go and hire a coach again and get back in that position because my self-worth's now attached to that photo. And that was like very similar to what happened to me when I done the photos. Like, I'm not fucking, this doesn't fulfill me. I don't really fucking care that I've got fucking abs and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to start speaking a lot more about, is the fact that when these people tell you they're going to change your life in 12 weeks, they will, but it's probably not going to be for the best. And I want to do something that will change your life, but not in 12 weeks, something that's going to change your life for the better. Yeah. And something that is going to actually like add value to your life and not
I think that
just
the
focus on
education,
you.
the education is a really important part of that, in terms of not just getting people to blindly follow something temporarily and not knowing why they're doing what they're doing, not knowing the value, not knowing the science. That was one of the things when I started the coaching that I identified quite quickly, is a lot of things that people follow or ways people try and get results or coaching that's out there. It's pretty much just follow this, it worked for me. And there's no understanding of, you're doing this for this reason. This is right for you because of this. There's loads of other ways to get to that end result, but it's about finding, through a bit of trial and error and honest, open conversations, what's right for that individual. And again, what do they actually value? What are they actually going to get fulfilled by long term? And that's why within my coaching, and I know I've seen I do, I'm not sure if you do as well, I've got like educational webinars, and I'm really big on that. I'm trying to grow those and evolve those and outsource to mindset coaches or people that are qualified like physios to talk on those topics, because I think if people understand why they're doing what they're doing and they get that education, well, that's longevity. If you can help someone to create the right routines for them in their life, in terms of routines that fit around social commitments, work commitments, like you said, for different people. Some people might, like I know you're very, very into the competition side of it, in the sense of training is like a full focus, you give it full intensity, everything you've got, and I fully respect that. Other people, it might not be quite as much of a focus point of their life. Like I know for yourself, you train for more like functional fitness at the minute. So it's finding what's right for that person. And I think if you build the right routines for them relative to that, rather than you going, I'm a coach, these are my beliefs, this is my values, I'm going to just portray that for you. If you find what's right for them and you give them the education around it as well, and you give them the accountability and support to create the routines through consistency into habits and education, that's setting someone up for long term. So within 12, 16 weeks, if you do it that way, I do think you can leave people in a much better position than you found them. And you can make sure that they achieve some great results. They understand why they're doing what they're doing. And if it is a photo shoot, they understand that getting absolutely shredded within an inch of your life, that isn't sustainable. And if it was, that isn't going to bring you the joy that you want in life all the time walking around like that. But again, it's understanding why you're doing what you're doing and making sure that it is actually what they really want to do.
I agree completely. It's like it's just interesting with, obviously, like, I'm more along the line of what Kyle does, and I agree with Kyle more, but I can see from your point of view, I disagree with everything you said, but I can see, I can see though, for your clients and potentially through your experience, the why you would see that, and like you probably see it more often as like your type of clients, though, maybe like a middle-aged woman or like a 30
Not even
woman.
necessarily that though. Like, you both know, like, there's some fantastic transformation coaches out there. I'm sitting with two of them. Who like, this is why we get on, even though we don't do the same thing. We have the same values in terms of coaching. That it's about the education, it's about the growth of the person. For you, part of that journey is slapping on a load of muscle to some kid who's never ever been able to fucking grow a bicep in his life. Like, do you know what I mean? But you're not just like fucking with their mind to make that happen. That's just a part of the whole process.
It's not just the result.
Same with you. You're getting people in incredible shape, but that's just a part of the process. Like, all the education, the fact that you're bringing other people in is all part of it. What I'm saying is not that I'm anti that. That's fantastic. That's what I want more of. But there isn't enough of that in the 12-week transformation culture of the fitness industry, because there is just people trying to get you in to get a photo, to get more clients in, to get a photo, to get more clients in. And the chain of them people, the fact that it's called a chain rate of clients shows you where the mindset is of, I'm just getting this person in because they're going to bring me more people in. And it's like, fucking what business model is that? Like, in a health, within the health and fitness industry, the first word is health. And even fitness, you're not fit at the end of it. Like, you're a little bit fitter than when you started, but are you actually fit? If you're fucked, like, you're knackered.
Your testosterone's on the floor.
Even if, unless you run a massive cycle and then you get to show day and you just like, feel great. A little bit tired, like, but I'm on like 9,000 calories, so I don't feel that bad.
No,
like,
but
that guy
I think,
I spoke to in London, I was saying to you, and I was like, he was like 4 weeks out from doing his pro card.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you must be in a bad place right now then. He was like, because I was eating one of the cookies that was on, like, there was like free food, and I was just nailing one of the cookies, and I went, do you want me to go and eat this like somewhere else? And he was like, I'm on like 5,500 calories, mate, don't worry about it. And I was like,
it's different game for them.
Okay.
Different game.
I mean, he was like this next to me, so oh yeah, probably, okay, that makes sense.
I think what you said was spot on, where you said, like, it's not about a coach implementing there, but these are my values and I'm going to force them upon you.
Yes.
And I'm just going to get you shredded no matter what. So if you were to take one of your typical clients and just be like, I don't give a fuck about what your values are with the kids and the values with work and all of that, but like, you've got to meal prep, you've got to go to the gym 6 times a week, you've got to do cardio, you've got to hit 20,000 steps every day to get them shredded. That's going to be deeply unfulfilling, and it's going to leave them in a place where they're fucked at the end of it. So in that situation, completely ridiculous. But I think it's just as a coach, looking at your own story and finding what you're passionate about, and being able to first of all connect them with the clients that relate to your story as well. First of all, you like that's important. 100%. So you've got the same values, but then being able to bring them along the same path as you with understanding of their values as well. Does that make sense? I feel like
100%. I think that
I feel like I said that in a really weird way.
No, I think I made complete sense. I think
Did it make sense?
I got you.
Yeah.
I think
two of us got you, so it must have made sense.
Having the understanding of having walked in their shoes, like you said earlier, about if you want to be a prep coach, you want to go through that so you can actually have the empathy when they're dealing with these challenges, when they're having these obstacles or self-limiting beliefs. So again, if I can relate it back to me, I've lost 36 kilograms in my own fat loss transformation. So a lot of people that I work with are somewhere in between where I started to where I am now. And so as a result, it's a lot of the problems that they might have or challenges they might face. I'm like, I've got you. I've been there. I know. I can relate. I can resonate with exactly how you're feeling. And I think when you can make someone feel that you understand and they know that you're not just saying it for the sake of saying it, you can actually give examples. So a lot of people I work with are more so fat loss. I do work with both, but I say more so the people I attract due to my story and kind of my background is more aligned with that. And when I can say to people and deeply get them to visualize me walking down the street and the wind blowing against you and I'm pulling out my top because it's sucking in against my chest or my stomach, or skipping nights out of university because I tried on a t-shirt that I used to love and it didn't fit me anymore. And I got so deeply unhappy and down and frustrated with the fact that I've let myself go. And I just had all these anxieties and feelings. And when you can speak to people about that on a very personal level and they can tell that you're being very authentic, very true to you in that situation, or wearing hoodies in the middle of summer and sweating and being so uncomfortable. And that is the main feeling, is the discomfort of it.
Yeah.
And telling people I was fine. I'm fine. I'm not hot. I'm dripping with sweat. It's like, I'm fine. Yeah. And it's, again, I think one of the things that you said, I think it's important to also be very true to yourself. And I think, again, one of the good things about coaching is getting people to really understand the actual values behind what they're doing. So one of the big things I do before I even take on a client is I'm very hot on their why and the emotion behind it. And asking people the difficult questions, getting people for often the first time. And I always laugh with people on the phone because often I'll ask them a question and it's just a big pause. And then they go, I've not really thought about it. And it's like,
do you know what?
That's what I want.
That's my favorite part of my job. It is. It like getting inside someone's head for the first time and asking questions that they've either like avoided or like don't know the answer to.
Bury the head in the sand.
Yeah, like I fucking love that shit. You know, I love like that first consultation call you have with someone. You know, when it's a good call, like sometimes obviously like you get on the phone with someone and they're just not a good fit.
You get a
it's
vibe,
just
like, the energy.
Yeah. Or it's just a dry call and they're just like for me, it's guys, it's we've kind of had this conversation like wet men. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say like someone's a bit wet. Like, and what it is, I think, is some lads, because I'm like half big beard, ex-army, quite confident when you see like my social media videos and stuff, they then get on a call with me and struggle to say, I feel this kind of way. They're the same type of person as the girls that I work with. They're having the same struggles, but because they're having the same struggles and they're a man, they find it very difficult to say it to me on the phone. And I also struggle like getting that out of certain males.
Yes.
Just that's why I don't work with that many men, because I don't have that connection on the calls. Why was I telling you that? I've just completely lost track because I was thinking about the last call I had. When you have like dry calls, that's why I was telling you.
Yeah.
So some of the calls, it is usually men. I'll get on the call and they're just like, no, I just want to be a bit fitter.
Why?
And why? And it's like, I just don't feel that. And you'd have those calls.
Yeah.
And then some calls you get on and you just know. You click.
Yeah.
And you ask the right question and they say something and it just gives you a little light bulb, and you ask the right question and they're like, oh, actually I've never thought about it like that. And you're like, yeah, I fucking love this shit.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you don't
100%.
understand the person, you can't coach.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Ross said, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other week, he said, if you don't understand people, you can't coach people.
Yeah.
You've got
So
to
true.
understand the person and what their actual why is, as you say, for you to be able to actually fulfill that desire for them.
Yeah.
If you don't
I
know
think
what it is, then how the fuck
What
are you
you've
gonna
just
do it?
said before is perfect. Like, I've probably never been in that headspace of that lad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had my own, obviously, like struggles and stuff, but with that, I just can't connect really. I don't, so I can't relate.
Yeah,
And so there isn't that connection where you might have got on a phone call with you or you, and you connect. You know what they're thinking, you know what they're feeling.
But that's
do you know
important with coaching as well, knowing who is the right fit and who isn't the right
Yeah,
fit.
yeah.
And I think often when you first start out, you want to work with absolutely everyone. I think there's something to say for
You
that.
just
in
got to,
terms of,
haven't you?
you're learning who is the right.
what I mean? Yeah.
But I think as you mature as a coach, you realize sometimes, like I've brought people on the team that maybe weren't the right fit for me. And at the time, I didn't feel that. But down the line, you reflect and you go, yeah, do you know what? If I was to be put in that situation again, I would outsource. So I had someone the other day who came to me who was suffering with Crohn's, and they reached out and they asked whether or not I'd take them on. And I said, I'll be honest, I think it's a little bit out of my area of speciality. I said, I'm sure that there's some great work we could do, but there's a lot better coaches out there. So when I found some coaches, gave them the information, and I said, these are going to be better. And they were taken a bit aback. They were like, oh, thank you so much for not just taking my money, like having me on the team. And I said, that's not what
Yeah.
coaching's about.
Yeah.
I said that's not the point of this. I said there's a lot of people out there that actually want to help you, and I said it's about finding the right person for you to get you to where you want to be. I don't think that's me, to be honest, in this situation.
Do you know what? It really hits people. Like, I think some people, like, and everyone's nervous getting on the call with you, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, to some extent, because it's some stranger on the internet.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they've never met us in person. So they're a bit nervous. So for then at the start of the call, I'm sure you probably, like, you just said, you say at the start, look, if you're a good fit, sound, I'll tell you about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
If you're not, I always say, part of the call today is to figure out if we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah.
If we are, I'll help you. I'll tell you about what we do, all that kind of stuff. If not, I'll point you in the direction of someone who I think is a good fit, or I'll just tell you straight, look, that it's not the right time for you, you're not in the right headspace or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And people, do you find as well, people are a little bit like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just takes that, like, this lad isn't just going to try and sign me up irregardless of what I say. And it's good, isn't it? Like, it still fulfills me to get on a call with someone and go, oh, I'm not a good fit for you, but I know someone who is.
But again, it comes back to the whole topic of the podcast. That's you being true to your values, what you actually know you can provide someone with, and the service you know you can deliver. If they're not aligned with that, well, it's going to cause a conflict for you, because you're going to be, I want to help them, but I can't help them.
Yeah.
And then they're not happy, you're not happy, no one's fulfilled. No
You know
one's
what? I've just recently, you said about the girl who comes to you, or the client who comes to you who had Crohn's. I've just had a client recently start with me and then start telling me about all of these, like, digestive complaints. And I was like, right, go to the doctors. We need blood work. We need to know what's going on. We need some tests done. And she was like, I think I've got Crohn's. I was like, oh, you've just started. Don't say that. Don't say that. And she come back and all the tests were negative. And I was like, okay, your digestion just fucked up. We can fix that.
You can fix that one. Yeah, that one's within my remit. Yeah.
That I can do.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the one thing that I think, actually, again, going back to what you said earlier, and the difference between maybe where we sit comparative to Jack's mindset on it, is I also think I have a different perception of body confidence to a lot of people. And I often relay this to clients when I first have the conversations with them and people throughout their journey. I think that when you say the word body confidence, straight away everyone's like, how you feel when you look in the mirror. And don't get me wrong, that is a big part of it, but it's so much more than that. And I know firsthand it's everything that you do, because when you're confident in the way that you look, and of course, everyone's going to have days that are better than others. Everyone's going to have things that they'd like to change or imperfections or whatever it might be. But when you're more confident in your appearance, it affects the posture, the energy, like the way you show up in all situations of your life. Like, that could be social situations with friends and family. It could be relationships. It could be things to do with your career and having the ability to get out of your comfort zone, to take those opportunities and to grow and to develop and to level up in lots of different areas. So that, to me, again, is what a lot of people don't think of. They jump on the call initially and they're speaking to me and it's, I want to drop a bit of body fat. It's like, why? And they start to dig a little bit deeper. It's like, do you know what? I'm actually not happy in my relationship. Do you know what? Actually, I'm really struggling now to be able to go for the career opportunity that I really want, because I just don't feel great about myself. My energy's low, my mood's low. I found that I don't really want to go out with my friends as frequently because I just don't feel comfortable when we're in big social situations anymore. It's like, right, that's your reason. That's your why. That's the purpose. And again, coming back to when you're actually doing coaching the right way, it's not always just about you're going to look absolutely unbelievable. You're going to be absolutely shredded. It's the benefit that that's actually going to bring to the whole quality of life. And that's like, coming back to what I said at the beginning, that's why I try and have that like holistic view. I call it a 360-degree transformation, looking into all the different areas, because that, I think, is a real transformation, not just a before and after picture.
Yeah, 100%. I think.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. I think as well, there's the coming from within, the extra confidence of being able to have better body language, being able to hold people's eye contact, shake the hand properly, like have that different energy because you've changed yourself. We've spoken about this a couple of episodes ago. Like, when you show yourself that you're capable of achieving a body transformation, everything about who you think you are and you believe you are changes, and everything in your life sort of just levels itself up. But then also, your physique tells stories.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fat muppet, people, whether it's right or wrong, have preconceived notions. Is that right? Preconceived notions of the type of person you are. So if you walk into a job interview and you're £300
Yeah.
versus someone who's in great shape, great posture, can hold eye contact and shake your hand properly, that is very transformative, because that tells the other people around you and the people in your life what type of person you are, and it just allows you to move through life with better productivity, just a better ability to achieve the things that you want.
On the flip side of that, it then, right, on the extremes of like bodybuilding, I'm talking, has that same effect in a negative light, I would argue, as well, in some situations. Like, so say like Nathan, massive, went into like a business world interview.
Well, yeah.
They got, I know, but it's funny, isn't it?
Now.
No, we're talking extremes, because you're talking like if someone is like heavily overweight, you go into an interview, it portrays this like, whether it's right or wrong, they're lazy, they don't care, like they're slovenly, all this kind of stuff.
Slovenly? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that sick?
Yeah.
That's sick.
I'm buzzing now.
Lovely word, isn't it?
Slovenly.
Isn't that a really lovely word?
Slovenly.
Yeah,
Slovenly?
like sloppy. Like,
I like that.
yeah.
That's class.
Yeah, slovenly. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a nice, it
Remember
rolls
that
off the tongue, doesn't
Slovenly,
it?
nice.
Same on the flip side. So the reason I say that is because I was in, I got my hair cut, didn't I?
I did notice
I
that.
think it was looking quite.
And the guy in Barbers, what's it called?
Number one.
Barbers number one, the one near where we used to work in the place that we don't name.
Yeah.
Was a fucking meathead. And I bet loads of people go in and go, I'm not going with him. Big fucking juice head. I'm not fucking letting him cut me hair. It was sick. I watched him cut the lad's hair next to me. Sick of cutting hair. But also smashes the gym. Like bangs gym, because he was fucking massive. Lad, he was huge. Like, so I don't know whether he competed or he just loves going to the gym, but he was a big guy.
Yeah.
Like, he had this t-shirt on that was not his t-shirt. It was like,
Yeah, but did he do that deliberately? Was it one of them where it's like,
maybe
I'm a large, so I'm
he was
getting
a big, yeah, he was
I'll
a
get
big guy. But it creates that, like, you're right. The reason I'm saying this, the whole point of this whole story is that your body does tell that story either way, doesn't it? You just go and generate, before you've even spoke to someone, you generate this whole thing of what they're going to be like and what they're into and how they speak and stuff. It was you ages ago when we used to train in Prophecy, telling me about NLP book you were reading, or you were working with, so you were learning about NLP. Did you take that any
I'm
further?
very interested in it. I've done lots of research in NLP and things like that. And like you said, it's human psychology. When you see someone, whether or not you mean to, you do prejudge them in lots of things just based off their appearance. Like tattoos is another example.
Yeah.
Like there's so many examples of people that have had jobs and not had jobs. The one that always sticks with me as well is I can't remember like a specific study to reference here, but it's basically saying people that are better looking are likely to get less time when they've committed a crime than people who are worse looking. And there's loads of studies.
Yes, I've seen stuff like that.
Things like that. It blows my mind. And so let's hope I don't
let's
commit
hope I
a crime.
never get arrested for anything. I'm going down. Life. So you parking fine.
Just walked in. But yeah, no,
This knobhead gets fucking let off with multiple murder. I get fucking 25 to life of parking.
chucked away.
Parking on a double yellow.
That's mad. That's crazy.
But yeah, no, it is so interesting the way you say it. And I think I align more with what you were trying to say there, Isaac. And I know you're playing a bit of devil's advocate there, to be fair, with the comment. But I put something up on my story, I reposted it. I can't remember the coach that actually put it out to give him credit. But it was this idea that being in shape, one of the biggest benefits of it is it's an ultimate sign of self-respect, because you can't inherit it. You can't buy it.
Yeah.
You put in the graft.
The other day?
He saw my story, that's what it was.
Yeah, you put on your story and he's gone, oh, good email. And then I'll go,
Do you
I
know
can
what?
probably make a little opposite
Rephrase
email of
that.
that. Yeah. It's a load of shit. I come up with an argument against that. That's a little bit of content for me.
But yeah, no, I think it is true.
I can't even remember the emails I send. You just write content and then it's just as soon as it's gone,
yeah,
it's like
just a
getting the
constant.
flow
Yeah.
is
I
done.
can't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
remember.
cool.
You gotta send that off.
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, I think in terms of that IGTV that I think you commented on the other day, I did referencing instant delayed gratification, all that stuff, and the compound effect, and so on and so forth. That's how I always relay it to clients as well, as this idea that your body composition right now is a direct representation, good or bad, of your routines, your habits, your mindset, the behaviors that you have portrayed from 6 months ago up until this point.
Yeah.
So where you are right now and the actions that you take from now up until 6 months' time, that is going to be the representation of your physique. And that's really empowering when they think about it, because you don't have to be perfect every single day in every single situation. Because if you think of their dream goal, everything they've ever wanted, and a load of boxes in between them, well, they're in control of their daily actions. People like to pretend they're not, but as adults, we are in control of what we're doing each day, and whether or not we decide to make the right or wrong decision in alignment with the goals that they have in that situation. But if they tick those boxes consistently enough, they will get to the goal. Like the time frame might be different for different people with different challenges and obstacles, but they will get there.
Yeah.
And even if they don't tick the box, well, they've just left the box that they need to tick later. They're not delaying the attainment of the goal. They're not stopping themselves from getting there. And that's a very empowering feeling. But like I said, again, it does mean you need to take a bit of personal responsibility, which is what people don't like to do.
Yeah.
But when you do, I think it's a brilliant thing when you actually understand that your body composition is your fault. It is your responsibility, and it is in your control.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a chapter in Mark Mason's Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I think I spoke to you about it last week. I went and reread it this week. That chapter. Do you remember? Have you read that?
Have I listened to the audio?
Yeah, where he talks about where he talks about everyone assumes that they're right. Like you're just because of the way we work and the way our brains work, we just assume we're right because of all the information we've had up to that point. We believe that our belief or our understanding of something is the right one.
Yeah,
and this whole chapter is about, well, just assume that you're wrong. Just assume that everything that you know and everything that you think is wrong. And then just ask yourself the question, well, what if I am wrong? And just like, even if you're right, just think, well, what if I'm wrong? Like something as simple as like the calories that I'm giving this client. Okay, well, what if that's wrong? Rather than me just blindly going, yeah, because I've done this sum and I've asked them this question and I've done all of this. This is the calories that they need because I know, because I'm a coach and I'm right. Well, what if I'm wrong? And it just opens up this new little avenue of, okay, well, what if I am wrong? Well, how do I figure out what's right? And you go and go back over it, and the same, like you've just been saying that there with clients, isn't it? It's that ownership of you don't want to admit that you've been wrong all this time, that all of your actions have been wrong, and that's why you look the way you do, and that's why they feel the way you do.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you can take ownership of, okay, well, I am wrong, and that's okay.
It's empowering.
Like, it's okay that I've been wrong all this time because now I can just change it.
Exactly that.
And it's freeing because I think people carry like almost like a guilt or like a fear around being wrong.
Yeah.
Of like, I can't admit that I've been wrong. I'm not going to make these changes because then I have to admit that I've been wrong with what I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm not willing to do that. And it's like, just do it. Like nothing happens. Like, just honestly, just be wrong. And guess what? No one cares.
I think I did that for a long time before I actually started my own personal transformation. Obviously, the business, everything grew off the back of that. Very naturally, it wasn't the plan. It was just to regain my own health, confidence, and happiness. And that just kind of happened. Yeah. But I spent a long time, like you said, not accepting how it actually felt. Brushing it under the carpet, saying, oh, I'm okay, I'm happy the way I am. And I know I wasn't. And I wasn't at the time. And I wasn't very open with lots of people about it. But I think that's, again, it's a difficult position to be in. It's difficult conversations to have. But that's why, again, when you speak to the right people, you follow the right people, you listen to the right advice, and you start to understand this stuff. And I know you've read Atomic Habits. Have you read Atomic? Incredible book. And he puts it so well about casting votes. And it's such a simple way, and I love the visualization of it.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Each day when you make a decision, do you go for the Mackies with your mates, or do you have your well-balanced, nutritious meal that you know is going to bring you closer towards the body composition and the way that's going to make you feel? Do you go to the gym? Do you skip the gym? Do you go for the walk? Do you not go for the walk? Each day you're just casting votes for the future version of yourself that you want to be and you want to become. That's such a simple way to put it. Yeah. Because again, it takes away this whole, if I don't go to the gym once, it's done for. I'm over. Like this whole perfectionist mindset, which we all know perfectionism is unsustainable and it's unrealistic. And again, I was stuck in that for a very long time, trying to do everything by the book, 110%, planning everything else meticulously. And it's something to come along, something to knock me off that little perfection pedestal. And then it's like, right, what now? And my whole like image of being perfect was knocked out. It came crumbling down beneath me. And then you've got to rebuild yourself to go again. Whereas if you just think, well, I know this week, based on the fact I have loads of things going on, like you this morning, for example, very, very busy morning, loads of things going on.
Yeah.
So it's just about doing what you can within the
Yeah.
kind of like remit of what you physically can within the day, within the time. And as long as you keep casting the right votes over time with the compound effect, you will always get to where you want to be, and you can always do it. And I think that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, 100%. And that little last sentence is the thing that's empowering, isn't it? Literally just make a vote every day in the right direction. Next minute, you're exactly where you want to be. But so when you said before, or you used to sort of be in denial about how you felt, and you were like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of this culture of body positivity? All these fat muppets. I know it's like all these fat people who are saying, I call them muppets not because they're fat, but fat people who are pretending, in my eyes anyway, I feel like they're pretending that they're fine and happy.
I think
When I just feel like they're in denial because they don't want to accept the fact that it is their actions and behaviors that have led them to a point where they are in an unhealthy body and they're not happy, but they're in such denial about it that they've tricked themselves into believing that they're okay with it.
I think there's two sides to it, isn't it? Because there are going to be some people who genuinely just don't give a fuck how they look. Like, it doesn't affect their well-being at all. It might affect their health down the line.
But then we have these people saying, "Oh, you can be fat and healthy." It's like,
Yeah.
Can you?
Some people have built a business off it.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people have built a business off it, built brands off it, become influencers off it. I would argue some of them are genuine. Otherwise, like, why would you start? Why unless you did genuinely feel that way?
Yeah.
Like, the first ever person to be successful at like self-love at any size or whatever you want to call it, I would argue had to have been. Otherwise, like, it wouldn't have been genuine. Like you were saying, if you're not genuine, it won't carry.
Yeah.
And then I think other people have just jumped on it and gone, do you know what? I don't have to change the way I am to make money. I can probably I'm in a good position to make money off this, and done it.
Yeah. I think if it's true, it's amazing because it's just an excuse at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It's just an excuse at the end of the day. So if you can,
Yeah.
because I think if I was fat, I wouldn't give a fuck. But like, also at the same time, it's not a body that I want to be in. But regardless, if someone can achieve that level of happiness and contentment in an obese body, happy days.
Fantastic.
But I feel like maybe that's the case for 50% of people, but I feel like
probably not even that, I would argue. I think
okay, 10%, let's say, but I think then a lot of people are just so scared of accepting that
they're going along with that narrative, you mean?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I don't have to suffer. I don't have to try and change this. I don't have to try and do anything about it. I can just go along with this crowd and pretend that I'm okay.
See,
if it's pretending, then there's obviously an issue there. Whereas if people have done that and actually genuinely gone, oh, okay, well, I've been putting all this pressure on myself to go to the gym and to lose weight, when in fact that doesn't actually fulfill me at all. Like, it doesn't fit with my values. It doesn't fit with what makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Here's a load of these people who look like me, who sound like me, who are me, who aren't. It's like, okay, well, I'll stop looking at bikini athletes on Instagram and trying to be that when I genuinely, that's not what I want to be. Do you know what I mean? But then, I think there's a big issue with people who go, oh, well, they're overweight. They're overweight and they're happy about it. Well, I should be happy. I should be happy that I'm overweight. So I'm going to join this. I'm going to join this group.
Yeah.
But then deep down inside is that fear of,
this is just too hard.
I think it comes back to what we said earlier about, have they been asked the difficult questions?
Yeah.
And actually, have they actually answered honestly?
Yeah.
In terms of, so I struggle to visualize that personally from the position that I was in, because, and I can sit here now and be very open and honest about it. At the time, if you had told me, I would have said, oh, I'm fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And if you had have met me then, because you guys met me when I was like halfway through that journey, through like mutual friends and stuff. If you had have met me before then in uni, I was a very happy, confident on the surface person, very outgoing person, but behind closed doors, I was not. I was very deeply unhappy with my appearance. And again, I think it was the contrast. One of the things that I also found difficult was the fact that I was working as a fitness coach at a professional football team in the worst fitness of my life. And I think that, again, it's ironic now and I can laugh now, but I struggled with that. I really struggled with that, because I was there doing drills, like leading S&C sessions, and I was not in a good shape comparative to where I've been previously. I was doing sport and exercise science at uni, not really representing sport and exercise science. So I think if people are genuinely, and genuinely being the word there, they are happy the way that they are.
Yeah.
Their image isn't a representation of their character and their values, and they are therefore happy going throughout their life, and it doesn't matter to them. They're not crippled by the worries of the perceptions of other people. That's not therefore stopping them from, because that was the thing for me, it was stopping me being present with the people I wanted to be present with. And at the time I didn't really recognize that, but now when I look back and now I've done a lot more personal development and stuff, I understand that. So when I was spending time on holiday, for example, so I went to Santorini September with my girlfriend. It was the first holiday I've ever actually enjoyed walking around my top off. I used to get in the pool, out the pool, I'd have a towel on me. I'd have a top on 24/7. Even in places like South Africa, I was walking around in like multiple layers because I was so deeply unhappy with how I looked. Whereas that holiday, I was able to walk around the beach and felt confident, felt great. I was able to get out of the pool and I didn't care. I wasn't thinking. So I was present in the moment. I was enjoying the time with my girlfriend. When I'm out and about with friends now, I'm just enjoying being in the company, being in the conversation. Whereas before I'd be looking around, I'd be thinking, well, how do I look? Do I need to pull my top out?
Conversation,
do I need to sit up here? And that isn't living, in my opinion. It's a restricted version of it. So if people genuinely don't have that, and different people are going to be different in that situation, I do believe that. And I do think there will be some people that they do align with that, and that is okay, and that is true to them. But like you said, I think the problem we've got in society with everything is people see that, they see an opportunity and they'll jump on it and they'll kind of twist it and turn it and they'll make it they'll monetize it for themselves and they'll make it kind of suit their personal narrative. I think that's the problem, but for some people, fair enough if it is, I just can't visualize that from my position.
Boss, I agree with everything that you both just said.
Do you know?
I probably framed it quite badly.
No, it was
All
good.
these
Start with Fat Muppets.
Fat Muppets, yeah.
It's not a good start. I'll be honest. When you went home with that, I was thinking, oh shit, this is going downhill.
We're going to get cancelled, mate. No, but do you know what you've just said is reminding me? So, do you know, I was telling you a couple of episodes ago, I don't know if you listened to this episode, Kyle, but I've come up with an acronym for what More Than Muscle is, the 4 pillars of More Than Muscle, which I'm going to start.
Which one is it?
I'm going to start, it was a couple of episodes ago. Can't remember exactly, but
yeah.
Originally it was clarity, awareness, resilience and excellence are the 4 pillars, and I'll speak about it later if you're actually interested in what they are. But I've changed clarity to courage, because I think if you don't have courage, you can't have awareness, because you first of all need the courage to be able to face these tough questions and actually have the authenticity and honesty to be able to answer them properly. Because it takes courage to be able to admit that everything you've done this far has led to your inadequacies. The life that you have built for yourself is your fault and is your responsibility. And then it also takes courage to be able to accept that now it's your responsibility to get you out of that situation. So one of the first thing I'm going to set a load of tasks to build courage to withstand physical and mental discomfort, to be able to prime people to be able to then bring around awareness. So the first thing that I'm going to get people to do starts with doing a body scan and noticing something that's a little bit uncomfortable and just sitting with it, which we spoke about before. And then it goes all the way along like a journey to the last one is think of the most traumatic moment in your life and just think about it for 10 minutes. To prime people to get really actually able to be extremely uncomfortable. And once you do that and you realize, oh, it's okay, you have the good courage then to actually step forwards and bring about real awareness.
Do you know the one thing I think is really people will find difficult with that? And
it'll be very hard.
It'll be incredibly hard. I also think it's people aren't used to not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to loads.
So one of the things that is in it across the journey is sit and do nothing for 10 minutes.
See, I struggle with that.
We spoke about that many times.
It's difficult. It's so difficult.
I mean, I think that's why we get along so well, even though we do completely different things, really, in terms of.
I've always thought it was a funny mix, but it just works.
It just works.
It just works
because we think the same. Even though we think very differently, if that makes sense.
The core values are the
values of what we want for other human beings are the same. We just have different avenues of getting there, which I think is really good, because we don't butt heads on it's quite clear that neither of us are like, well, you have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Like, we're both going about it a different way, but going, wow, we've made that human sick.
Yeah.
That human was a bit shit when he turned up to us, but now they're a bit sick. Like, that's the goal. Doesn't matter how you get them there.
Like you said earlier, though, about thinking about the other, what if? What if I'm not doing it? So that's why I think, again, it complements one another, is because Isaac might say something and you might come at it a different way and he goes, oh, actually, maybe I could slightly change. You might go,
we do that.
Shut up, Jack.
We do that all the time.
Shut up, Jack, I'm right.
Like,
You might do the same.
that's fucking stupid. Or,
you might
that's a sick idea, yeah. I'm going to steal that off you. Nice one.
Yeah. Or like you said, flip it on its head and do it in an email.
I'll do the opposite way, But we've both got that. That is a part of both of our client journeys now, isn't it? Is to be able to sit comfortably with your own thoughts for at least 10 minutes.
I think that's the scariest thing in the world.
Well, that was after what the light bulb for me was that
That study.
the study, which fucking blew my. I didn't actually go and look into the study because it was just a soundbite off
Tell Kyle about it.
a Stephen Bartlett.
That was the guy who was all about the procrastination diary CEO.
Oh, Johan Hardy.
I probably have watched. Yes, I have watched the one about what the procrastination.
Yeah, about distractions and.
Yes, that was kind of what I was talking about then. Yeah, it about people just can't not be doing something, about how. So since then, I've set up focus modes on my iPhone. I've got work, I've got gym, I've got game changer. I do check-ins and work, phones in the other room.
Yeah.
I've been like, even when I'm doing check-ins, I'm not replying to WhatsApps in between them. I've blocked out time, and it has literally freed up the mental headspace so much.
Yeah.
Because I was having the conversation with Joe, the other lad we were talking about earlier about competing, about do we control the notifications or do the notifications control us? And this Apple Watch is one of the worst things for it.
So bad. I've turned them all off.
Yeah, so
hate it.
Every
hated it. It used to make me angry.
Yeah.
Like, just like,
yeah. You're trying to
because you're there and it bumps and you go, fuck. Oh, what's that?
Another task.
And then you're off.
It's just constantly building your stress levels up and up and up because it's you doing something.
The only
and you
reason
can see the to-do list constantly piling.
The only reason I got that was the first gym we ever worked at, because we were so busy and you weren't allowed your phone on the gym floor, or you weren't allowed to get your phone out on the gym floor unless you were like filming someone or whatever, weren't you? But we were like back to back with clients. Like when I was at my busiest, I had one 45-minute gap in the day from start to finish, and that's when I'd eat.
Yeah.
And clients would say like they're late, and I could quickly send a voice message reply on my watch without having to get my phone out, and that's the only reason I got it. And then I left the gym floor, but the notifications kept coming on it. Yeah. And now it's useless. Now I just use it for
steps. That's literally it's on my wrist for steps, and that is
expensive pedometer.
The study I was telling him about, I want to go and look into it because it was just a soundbite. So I don't know like any of the, like how it was done or any of that kind of stuff. But he was saying that they asked men and women, that's these two groups of men and women, would they rather receive a painful electric shock or sit in a room on their own for half an hour? Like sit with their own thoughts for half an hour. And it was the guy who
founded Calm.
Yeah, the guy who set Calm up. He was the guy who was talking about. And I think 40% of women chose the electric shock and 60% of men chose the electric shock. And
I know exactly where I was in the car when I heard that thing. I was passing the toll coming back from Bodytech into the. I remember it because that was the same thing. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah,
that can't be right. Yeah, no, I heard it. If you find the study,
I'll go and have a look later on today. But it's mad, that isn't it? Like
it's sad in a way. It's really sad.
I mean, but it's sad, but also like I heard it and also went, I can
that's
see
what
that.
I mean. You can relate to it.
I can see that. Yeah. So many of my clients, when I've said, like either when I've like introduced meditation or tried to introduce them to meditation, it's boring or don't like it.
It stresses me
out. Yeah.
It's
like the meditation doesn't stress you out.
But people don't like doing things
the thoughts in your head stress you out.
People don't like doing things they're not good at. When you start it.
Swimming.
Is that for you?
For me the other day.
Yeah, with the armbands on.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? It was really, really good for me because I was so uncomfortable and I was debating getting out after one length. Like genuinely like was in the pool going, oh my God, you're a dick. Oh my God, everyone's looking at you. Is that lifeguard laughing at me? That lifeguard's just laughed at me doing that length. Bet he has. That's how bad I was. That's how it was. All this shit's going on in my head. Yeah. And then I stopped. I was like, right, fuck this. I'm going to meditate the fuck out of this. Calm myself the fuck down. Like, I'm not getting out this pool. I'm not a fucking muppet. And while I was meditating, like I was sat in the pool just trying to slow my breathing back down because that's what's fucking me up is I can't breathe underwater. then I panic breathe, and then I get even more panicked, and then my heart rate goes even higher, and then I want to breathe even more. And it's just a vicious fucking cycle. And I thought, this is how someone really anxious or really overweight feels going into the gym.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt that in fucking years. I haven't felt that since I was probably maybe about 21, 22.
Yeah.
So almost really forgot how bad that felt.
Yeah.
Like I remember it happening and I talk about it like feeling anxious, but then going back into it was like, oh shit, this is really shit, isn't it? Fuck, people feel like this all the time.
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah, don't miss this. Do not miss this. So it was shit, but it was also nice as like a little...
Was it nice to challenge yourself as well? To be able to actually exercise some level of...
I got out of that pool like my dick was like this. By the time I finished, because I went in to do 30 lengths.
Yeah.
It was like an interval session. Supposed to be an interval session. It was supposed to be 10-minute warm-up and then 10 25-meter lengths with 20 seconds rest in between.
Yeah.
And then 10 50-meter lengths, so there and back. One way hard, one way easy. What it was 30 25-meter lengths and me stopping every time going,
Yeah.
fuck, that was hard. Shit, why am I no good at this? Fuck, get out the pool. But then finished it and started to relax, started getting into like everything, isn't it? You just fucking, it's just all in here.
Yeah.
Just got through and I ended up managing to get to a point for the last like 5 lengths where I could swim underwater, not underwater, but swim front crawl properly, like breathing and then breaststroke back and like breathe out my arse on the breaststroke back and then rest for 20 seconds and go again.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I got out of that pool, I felt fucking good. Like,
Looking up at the lifeguard. Like,
Yeah.
he's fucking still out, yeah.
But it's like your we spoke about this before as well. Your belief systems, your identity is I don't belong in this pool. I can't swim. I'm shit at swimming and all that. And now you've just got to prove to yourself that you
That's
can.
it. If you
just got to
like,
keep turning up, and in 6 weeks or whatever it is, you'll be flying. And then now you've changed your identity through action.
Yeah.
And you've just pushed through that boundary of anxiety.
like I'm okay to do it because I've done it loads. Do you know what I mean? So even though in my head and the week before it, every conversation I've had with someone about the swim is like, oh, I'm a shit swimmer. Like I'm at the point where I can say that and not believe it. Do you know what I mean? Because I know I'm shit right now. Like when I say that out loud, and Rachel catch me because we've got this thing with me and Rach. Like if we say like, oh, when this new, like if this new client starts, and she'll go, no, when?
Yeah,
And
like
she'll,
that.
you know, little things like that.
Yeah.
Like if I get fit enough for this, she'll go, no, when? And we'll catch each other and do it.
Yeah.
But for like stuff now, just where I'm at, I can go. If I say if, I mean if. It's like, yeah, I'm shit at swimming. I'm not saying I'm shit at swimming. I'm shit at swimming now. But in my head, I know I've got the belief system of, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Whereas if you've not,
Yeah.
for like, no matter what type of client we work with, a lot of the time when they come to
Yeah.
you, when they come to you, when they come to me, there hasn't been enough things before coming to us for them to have that belief system of, oh yeah, I will just do it. If I just try, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It takes
Because
multiple things, doesn't it, for you to then go, okay, yeah, I am shit at this, but if I just fucking do it, if I just do it enough, I'll be okay.
But it's hard to believe that until you've actually done it.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's it. It's impossible. You've got no information. You've
You've got to
got
build
no,
the social proof to yourself almost, haven't you?
yeah, you've got no data.
We've spent years in the gym, all of us, and it's like when. So I like. I said this to you before as well. But I like the gym in particular because it's so honest and true. It's just like input output. There's no, you don't put the work in and not
Your
get the
spreadsheet
results.
brain so well.
You don't put the work in and not get the results. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible unless you put the work in and what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
That's another
Different
story.
story.
But if you put the work in, you get the output, and so you can start off skinny or fat or just not knowing what to do in the gym. You just keep turning up and keep trying to be a little bit better every now and then, or every day. Sorry, not every now and then. You got to do it quite consistently. And then
Do it like once every 6 months.
You'd be all right.
you fast forward the year, and you're in great shape. You're confident in the gym. You've completely transformed everything. And then you start to realize, oh shit, that happens in other things in life as well. So it happens in business, it happens in swimming, it happens in this, it happens in your relationship, it happens in everything. But that's why I love the gym for people, and I think it's a great teacher of life.
It's a catalyst, and I think it's a catalyst for so many different things, because you start to build momentum in one area of your life, and like you said, you're building the proof that, do you know what, you can actually do this.
Yeah.
And that's, again, coming back to what I said right at the beginning, that's why I call it that 360-degree transformation. So we look into training, nutrition, sleep, stress, digestion, hydration, mindset, the lot. Because then when everything kind of levels up together, and again, you're not going to be perfect in all of them, but you're consistent across the board, you start to build momentum. And that's exactly what I did in my transformation. It was, this is the goal I want to achieve. Let's reverse engineer it back. Let's have the monthly, the weekly, and then the daily actions that feed into the weekly targets, that feed into the monthly targets that eventually will get you there. And people are like, how did you do that? And it's like, well, I focus on 1 kilogram. And I focus on my next kilogram and the next kilogram. And that's what I always now say to the clients. It's like, you're getting so overwhelmed thinking about this massive transformation or this massive change in your lifestyle. I was like, just think about the next week.
Yeah.
Think about the next day. Think about what you need to do tomorrow to be able to move that needle a little bit further towards where you want to be. And then once that momentum and the wheels start turning, you build the social proof, you start to change your belief system. And then before you know it, you're accelerating towards your goals with speed, like direction, intensity type thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember what book it was I was reading. It might have been the DeMartini one. Yeah. And he was saying about the perspective people have at different, like, depending on the type of person that you are. So like he was, the example he gave was like a CEO talking to, so like Jeff Bezos talking to, when he owned Amazon, talking to someone on the factory floor.
Amazon anymore?
Sold it, didn't he? Does he still own it? I thought he sold it.
I mean, I'm not too well versed on him, like, but
yeah, I think he sold. I'm almost certain he sold it. I think so. Not 100%.
You sound more certain than me and Isaac do. So,
so let's, Jeff Bezos, he, whether he does or doesn't, at some point he owned Amazon. So Jeff Bezos talking about the vision for Amazon to a factory worker on the floor. The factory worker on the floor wouldn't be able to see the vision that Jeff Bezos has, because Jeff Bezos is thinking in centuries. He's thinking what Amazon's going to be in 10, 50 years, or what he's going to do to change the world. Like Elon Musk is a prime example, like insanely wealthy, and that has give him like his success and where his mind's at. He never started off like that. But as you grow, like when you are someone who just walks in the door with us, they're thinking, well, I want to feel like this today. I want to feel like this by next week. And we're trying to say to them, you want to feel like this is what you're going to feel like in 6 months. And for some people, it's difficult to see that far ahead. But then when you get them to that, you can be like, okay, well, at the end of the month, you're going to feel like this. Yeah. And then they go, okay, that I can understand. Okay, work towards that. And when I've done that a couple of times, you can be like, okay, well, imagine, like you were saying with the long-term muscle growth, when someone first comes to you, never put any fucking muscle on, so they can't imagine that in 12 months' time, they're going to be fucking 20 kilos heavier or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like that kid the other day who's hit, was it 80 kilos? And he was fucking buzzing. Yeah. Like they're just not at the point in their life to visualize that far ahead. But then the further you get, you can then see further. Like I have conversations with Mark, and you think, fucking hell, he's just so far ahead in his planning. And then he has conversations and he's talking to me and he's going, I'm sitting in a room with people and he's like, I can't keep up with how quick they're thinking and where they are. And it's just mad, isn't it? Like there's like you're able to think further ahead and plan even bigger the more successful you are, the more data you've got, almost, isn't it? You were saying with you can't have that self-belief until you've done something to prove that you can do it. Yeah.
And then you can start planning further and further and further ahead.
Yeah.
I think I've decided I want to compete next year.
Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite to you.
You'd smash it, to be fair. Yeah, but again, you've come from a very different, so you're more aligned with, again, Jack and Joe. They were skinny and wanted to obviously put on the muscle, and that's the kind of the journey that they've been on. I think you'd absolutely crush it. I mean, what you've achieved, to be fair, in terms of physique development, is pretty impressive, to be fair, to say the least.
Yeah. The skinny little muppet that started in the gym with me a couple of years ago, and then just went like, have you ever seen The Matrix? Yeah. Seen when Neo...
I named my dog after the fucking...
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was thinking, sure.
So you're big on The Matrix, good. You know when Neo, because it's almost very spiritual, The Matrix.
I love it.
You know when Neo meditates the fuck out of the Matrix and then can just see everything in noughts and ones, and then he can just like change the world around him. Yeah. Have you done that? And is the world you're living in now just a big spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what he's done. He's just meditated so hard that life is now just a spreadsheet, and he was this skinny little muppet who then meditated the gym into a spreadsheet and just went, okay, today I input this amount. I get this amount out. Goes in, does it. Poof.
Gets the result, yeah.
Oh, okay. Repeat tomorrow.
You know, the thing with Isaac that always stuck in my head, that was why I know you would absolutely crush it. I don't know why it's always stuck with me, and I've never told you, so it probably make you laugh. But I've always remembered it. I think you put something up on your story, and it was like you were having your dinner, and you ate like your carbs and then your fats, and you broke it down. You ate it all in a specific order because of like how fast I did. And I was just like, oh my God. Can you remember? It was, what was it? I think it was like you ate the carbs and then you had your fats last, and you were like, and I was just like, I've just grabbed my food. I've just eaten my food. Like,
do you know once, right? He said to me, he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
He doesn't drink while he's eating. This is the level of thinking he goes into, right? When he's having his tea. He doesn't drink any liquid while he's eating,
right?
Because he doesn't want to wash the enzymes out of his mouth because it's going to disrupt the digestive process of him chewing food. So he won't drink water until he's finished eating.
Only when I'm eating carbs though, because it dilutes the amylase.
See what I mean? And I was just like, do you?
He's there eating rice cakes, like,
yeah.
Proper dry mouth. Like, yeah. It's like gains. I've got to do it. And I'm late.
It's right, Isaac. I've got a client in 5 minutes.
Jack there crunching it up. And load of powder.
Just putting it all in a shake.
No, but you know what? I think obviously I don't see in zeros and ones, but I think of the way I look at life is it's just like a game. It's almost like GTA, but you just if you die, you're done.
Yeah.
Like. So it's like
one life GTA.
Yeah. So if you want to go and act like a dickhead and get killed, then you could do that. But also, like, it's just a case of if you want to go and do these missions and start stacking money and start doing this, you just constantly do it over and over and over again. You'll eventually get to the point where you've got $1 million in the bank and you can buy a fucking Lamborghini in the game. It's just exactly the same. It's just like, I know that I've got to do this and this and this and this. I just do it because it's just a game. I just do it and it'll happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. That's just the way I see
think
life.
Here's the cheat code, lad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think if you're gonna go down that route of competing, I think, and this was again what I said in that video I put about the values and about Jack and Joe in particular. If that's going to be your avenue, if that's going to be your route, you've got to give it everything. I don't think it's an industry. I don't think it's I don't think you should compete if you're just doing it for the sake of it. If you're just like, I'm just competing to see how. I think it's no. I'm in it to win it. I'm giving this my absolute all. And okay, you've got to be realistic as well with your approach and with the first time you do things. But at the same time, I think you've got to, that's your everything, that's the focus, and you give it your all. And that's why I think you would do really well. Same with Jack, same with Joe, is they're fully committed to it. Their day's sculpted around their meal timing. Their day's sculpted around their training. Mm-hmm. And I think you've got to be that meticulous if you've got any chance, because there are people that are doing that and that are willing to put in those sacrifices. And if you're not, like you said, you're not going to win the game.
Exactly.
And if the game is winning the show, if the game is the fulfillment.
And it is a competition, isn't it? Like,
literally,
a photo shoot's a photo shoot. Like that's almost personal to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Like
you versus you.
Like you said at the start, it's not you versus you when you step on stage. So like, you can't go into it. Like, I've had consultations with people and they're like, oh yeah, I think I'd like to do a show. And I'm like, you don't. You don't want to do a show. You want to get in good shape.
Yeah.
You don't want to do a show because you go into it like the same way where your where your headspace was is like, it's kind of something that you've almost got to do, and it's like, no, that's a competition. Like, it's a sport. Like, it's like this triathlon, the first one I'm doing isn't a competition for me, and I know that going into it. Like, I'm not. There's some fit animals going. It's an infantry one, so these guys are like, they're in Cyprus now. Training 3 weeks, just swim, bike, run every day.
Mad.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm late to the podcast. Do you know what I mean? So it's a different ball game of the people I'm going into.
Yeah.
But then the next one, that's a civvy one. I'm going in that one.
Yeah.
That one's in September, and that's a competition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're getting into that, some people don't see it as a competition because it is quite a lot. Like, if you follow a lot of people in the fitness industry on social media. Yeah. Then you just see it as everywhere. You just see, it's just things that people do. And say, oh no, that's a competition. Like that's like, there's a prize.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know that. Like, there's a prize. Like, you win a prize if you come first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's a competition.
Yeah.
So like, go into it with that. And if you don't want to go into it to win it,
it's probably not the right thing.
Probably not the right thing for you.
Something you said off air beforehand was you asked about. So Joe Brightman, for people that know him, is my coach, and you're asking how I'm getting on with him. One thing that I was very cautious, and I've actually, funnily enough, had the conversation with him since down the line. Now I know him a little bit better. I was very cautious in reaching out. I wanted to reach out for a while The reason I didn't was I thought he was going to just try and steer me down this route of bodybuilding, competing. And don't get me wrong, like when we had the initial conversation, he did say, I showed him the photo shoot I'd done and he said, oh, would you ever consider competing? And I said, I'm never going to say never, but right now I don't think it's on my agenda. It's not something I'm working towards. And he was like, oh yeah, fair enough, not a problem. I work with lots of lifestyle and competitors. And the conversations that we've had and the way in which, like, I don't know if you watched the Off the Cuff podcast they're doing, absolutely smashing it. And they recently did one and talking about it, and they were talking about like steroids, they were talking about like competing and stuff. And that's exactly, and I said to him afterwards, I was like, full respect for those conversations. I wasn't expecting that to kind of be the avenue and the topic of conversation is, if that's your everything, if that's what you wanted to do, fair play, go for it, back that's your decision. If it isn't, and they were talking more so in alignment with like steroids and things like that, they were like, if that isn't your absolute all, don't do it. Why are you doing it? Why are you making that decision? Like this isn't like a little, I might do it, see how it goes. This is a big decision that you're going to be making. And I think way too many people, if we full circle it back to the actual topic of the whole podcast, so many people, they're not doing it for them. They're not doing it for themselves. Like I've had clients that are like 18, 19 that have kind of asked questions about like steroids or about like SARMs. And I'm like, I don't know anything about them, but why are you even considering that right now?
I don't know anything about them, but what I do know is that you don't need them.
Yeah, it's like,
You ate Mackey's 3 times last week. You don't need test.
Yeah.
Like,
you just need to
go
eat.
a week without not hitting your calories.
Yeah.
And then we'll start from, we'll go from there.
Not even that. Go half a decade and be perfect with your macros every single week.
Yeah.
And train every single week.
Every single week.
And add 30 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Sorry, 30
this is
kilos
what, like,
of muscle.
obviously,
and then maybe take maybe.
This is what
maybe
I've always loved Jordan Peters' sort of approach to it. Like that's what he's said. Like he's always spoke about that. Like and he never used to be, but he was always like, less is more. Do you know what I mean? Like use as little drugs as possible when he's working with like competitive bodybuilders and stuff. And he'll have people come to him who are using massive amounts and he'll pull them right back and just dial in their food and their training and their fucking recovery and all that kind of stuff. And then you don't need all that stuff. And it is that, isn't it? It's like, why are you speaking about this? Like, speak to people in the gym I used to train at all the time, and people will be like, do you think I should take this? Do you think I should take that? And it's just like, I don't know, mate. Like, what's your food like? Like, or then they ask you about that, or they tell you what they're on, and then you come and speak to them the next day, and they're like, oh, mate, fucking mad night. I ended up going to town last night. I'm so hungover, and you're in the gym training today, and it's like,
yeah. I was literally thinking that
you're just killing yourself. That's what you're doing.
When you see people in the gym who are in like very average shape, but they're on gear and they're training like shit, I'm just thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why have you done that? But that probably
because I think
it probably goes into they're probably living in other people's values. They're probably thinking, I need to be massive in order to fit in. I need to be massive if I'm going to train in this gym. If I'm going to be around these people.
Just a misunderstanding of how testosterone and steroids work. Like I remember me telling you about that. I know we're right at the end of the time now. The kid I used to be in the army with, I say kid because of the conversation that he had with me,
he was
on
man,
this
but he was a kid.
massive cycle of like tren, test, loads of other stuff for 12 weeks and never went to the gym once.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember
just
you told me
expected that to just do something. And I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't help you, mate. Sorry, no, I don't know enough about it. Sorry, yeah. Good luck, bye.
That's the level of misunderstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just going to go into his body and just
about like someone else that he knew was taking them and getting some level of results. He was like, I was like, mate, you've literally not been to the gym. Like you've never consistently been 3 times in 1 week your whole life. Why is this even a conversation? You're like, and again, I've taken us off topic, but it was more so because, I do think, again, full circle to the actual topic of the podcast, it is people doing it, like you said, for the wrong reasons, the wrong values, not actually understanding it, kind of getting pulled in the wrong direction. Yeah. And again, I think it is important if you actually want to be happy to do what's right for you and know why you're doing it.
But then the precursor to that is being able to have the courage to be honest with yourself first and really ask yourself those difficult questions.
Definitely.
Or just book a call in with me and I'll ask you them.
Little cheeky plug at the end.
Yeah. Are we done?
Done? That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Really, really enjoyed that. Thank you.
That was nice.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in, man. Where can people find you?
You can find me, probably the best place to be Instagram.
Dark alleyways,
Yeah.
creepy corners of gyms.
Gonna be looking out now. No, the best place would probably be Instagram, just at TrainedByTopping. And if anything I've said kind of resonates with people that think that I could help them, then always happy to help in any way and add value. So yeah, just drop me a message.
Boss, thank you. And
Go and leave us a review.
Yeah.
Sick of telling us. Go and do it. Takes like 3 seconds. You're already listening to the podcast. Scroll down to the bottom. 5 stars. Nice one.
Not unless.